Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the EPL Index Transfer Daily. Ladies and gents, a lot of teams played each other or played their games, did they? I mean, if you look, it was United versus Liverpool last night. Crazy, eh? That was in America, in South Carolina, I think it was. There was also Chelsea versus Manchester City. That was in Columbus, both in the US, so all four teams on their US tours. Goals galore. So Liverpool beat United 3-0. City beat Chelsea 4-2. Spurs also played, but they were in Asia. They lost to Bayern Munich 2-1. So a lot of teams are now concluding their pre-season tours, which thinking why I talk about that, because that will make it easier for their transfers to start. And funnily enough, a lot of people were asked about transfers in their interviews, post-match, etc., etc. And one for United fans, Max Ebel, one of the board members of Bayern, was asked about Matthijs de Ligt. And he said, I will comment on it, i.e. the reasons for the move to United, when the time comes. It's not the time yet. Matthijs has played very well here for 2 years, and that's why many fans like him. Nevertheless, you have to think about how you make decisions and also how the boy feels. He is still a player of Bayern for now, and as long as he is, he will get all our support. That sounds like a man who's probably expecting a move, isn't he? Very guarded there. They are public at Bayern across the board members, aren't they? So, yeah, an interesting one for United fans. And Pep pretty much left off, ruled out any England suggestions as well for that job. So that kills some headlines at the same time. And I'm sure there'll be a few other things come out. You talked about it the other day, but as the Athletic had late yesterday, Atletico Madrid are in discussions with City for Julian Alvarez, the 24-year-old Argentinian striker. An interesting one. I mean, he talked about thinking about his future, that he played minutes, but he wants to play regularly in the big moments. And Pep had answered that previously. There seems to be real legs in this. It is across the continent. People have this, and people have made, not waves, but certain suggestions around, he has a good relationship with Simeone, who's the head coach there, fellow Argentinian. People have also said that Atletico have just signed a striker in Solos. They spent quite a bit of money on him, so do they have? But it seems to be the hot news, isn't it, that Alvarez and his people are in discussions with Atletico Madrid. The Mirror also had that Arsenal are considering a move, but they may have to make sales as they're starting to use to fund the purchase price. Emile Smith-Rowe's gone, so maybe others. The other thing you have to be blatantly honest and say, why would City sell them Alvarez? And I know people are going to say they sold them Zinchenko and they sold them Jesus. Yes, because they had far better alternatives and they didn't really see Arsenal as a major rival at that time. You have to take that into account. It's different now. They finished a point behind them. I just can't see any planet it would make sense to sell them Alvarez, as much as Arsenal fans would love it. Newcastle fans will love if Mark Gay joins from Crystal Palace, and that's the latest one since Ornstein broke it, and the Mail had yesterday. They're expecting a breakthrough or hoping for a breakthrough. And Football Insider have said the Palace have asked Newcastle for at least 50 million quid up front, as well as add-ons to sell them Gay. The thing is with Palace, they're in a strong financial position. They really are. They had a good summer, or good season last season with the way the wages and the structure went. They just sold Elise. They've also got assets like Eze, Ward, and a lot of clubs would like. That no one's going to leave Palace on the cheap, I'm afraid. So the only advantage, that's not advantage, wrong to say, but the only thing that stands in a balance on this is Gay has 2 years left to go and is clearly indicated, I think, that he's not going to side. So that will come into Palace's stake, and you think ultimately they want to sell him because of that nature. He's worth a lot less next summer, and he'll only have a year left to go. Just had the Euros. Now's the time. I think Palace will know that. Speaking of England players, Dominic Solanke. Now, this one's for not just Bournemouth fans, but Spurs and Liverpool fans as well, because the Mirror says that we broke yesterday that Tottenham want the player. Bournemouth say they'll have to pay the £65 million release clause if they want him. Now, whether it's that or not, Liverpool fans will be interested because Liverpool have a 20% sell-on of the profit. Now, Solanke, according to reports, went to Bournemouth from Liverpool for 19 million. So if it is 65 million, that is, if you do a quick bit of Carol Vorderman style maths, £46 million profit, which means 20% of Liverpool will be getting around 9 million quid from or from Spurs, Bournemouth, however you want to argue it, but Liverpool will get a nice little boost to their coffers as well. So we'll see what happens. And again, we mentioned this yesterday. Team Talk had that if Solanke does go, Cameron Archer at Aston Villa is the one that Bournemouth are looking at. Good run the constant. We'll do those. A lot involved Juventus, to be honest. I mean, they've already brought in Kefren Turan from Nice, and they're closing in on Jean-Claire Todibo. I mean, this will be almost an annoyance to a few Premier League clubs like West Ham fans, because they tried, didn't they? But more United fans, because United had it all agreed, but UEFA said no, didn't they? The club ownership rules, Jim Ratcliffe and that type of thing. It looks like it's going to be the same fee, maybe even slightly less, that he goes to Juventus for, according to various Italian outlets. And also Juventus, they had a bid rejected from Team Koopmeiners, the Dutch midfielder at Atalanta, and Corriere dello Sport says they'll come back with around £50 million. We'll have to see if that happens. An interesting one. And then the constant, we talked as well about Barcelona. Red Bull Leipzig are still in talks with them, aren't they, over Dani Olmo? It looks like, I have to be honest, the deal for Nico Williams looks quiet. I think the suspicion is he's going to stay at Bilbao, and now it's all about negotiation around that £50 million mark for Dani Olmo. So we'll see what happens there. Kind of a couple of London forwards as well. Eddie Nketiah, I mean, loads about this, written in various outlets, but Arsenal won about 30 million. I think Marseille are around 25 million. Does something get done there? You'd expect so, because Arsenal look like they want the funds. And Jean-Philippe Mateta, that apparently Palace are keen to give him a new deal, according to a few outlets. Villa and others, West Ham have even been linked with him as well, having a good time at the Olympics. So we will have to see there. And Southampton, apparently, according to Football Insider, are still trying to keep, or will hope to keep, Kyle Walker-Peters. West Ham were linked with him, but West Ham look like, as we said this a few times, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is their favoured choice at right back, which will give United the money, which brings us back to the top of the show, towards the likes of Ligt and Mazraoui, as we mentioned before. A lot of things are linked on, especially West Ham and United, it feels. And an interesting one for Liverpool fans. It looks like Red Bull made Salzburg, made a £6 million bid for Bobby Clark. Liverpool rejected that. And a lot of reports out yesterday that they're looking for at least 12 million to consider a sale, although they prefer a loan, and the likes of Norwich, Leeds and other championship clubs are lingering for that. There's a lot going on, ladies and gents. We expect a lot to sort of accelerate in the coming week as well, as a lot of these clubs return from tours. You'll get things answered maybe about like Anthony Gordon, Joe Gomez, Liverpool, Newcastle, that type of thing. You would expect things to start to happen. Now, a lot of the players that went to the finals of the Copa, the finals of the Euros are back, so things should start happening in more depth. Will we get that crescendo and big end? We'll have to see, but we expect it to hot up. On Sunday, the 4th of August, enjoy your day. That was the EPL Index Transfer Daily.